So the last three examples I'm going to give you are all touching on how we might partner with nature through coaching. There's a very short aside. That picture is of a bee orchid. I don't know how many of you have ever seen a bee orchid in the wild. They're a flower that elicits pseudo-copulation. They pretend to be a sexy bee, and other bees come along, get not much from the exchange, except they go away with some pollen on them. And I was with somebody, and we were actually talking about authenticity. And so we could use an aspect of nature like that orchid to discuss, triggers and prompts about what's valuable about pretending to be something you're not. What is the authentic you, and what do you present to the world? And I'm just going to touch on three things: the natural child, expanded use of sense vocabulary, and last but not least, eco-mindedness. Those of us that have read a bit about transactional analysis, and even if you haven't, you'll know that this idea of these ego states, a child, a parent, an adult. And broadly, the goal of transactional analysis is to move us towards autonomy. And we touched on autonomy earlier. Move us more into being into an adult state. And yet, it's really helpful to be playful and naturally playful. And I think many of us are forgetting how to play. Not only that, but through transaction analysis, we could look at what are the scripts around your natural child. What kind of child did you grow up to be, and where was that unhelpful? And how might you address some of those scripts so that you can move towards autonomy? And nature is an absolutely fantastic place to experience spontaneity and exploration, joy, awe, playfulness, wonder. Secondly, we have these five senses, and yet researchers have shown, and you know it yourself, I think, how little we actually really use those five senses to extend our reality, our awareness, and our choice. There's an ecotherapist called ecopsychologist Michael Cohen, who even developed 54 senses and sensitivities that include things like hunger, detection of weather, the feeling that front on that picture is approaching, even if you can't see it. And what point I'm trying to make here is that through coaching, we're often looking at realities and challenging realities, because what we observe at face value does not mean that is what is there. So being in a room coaching or being on a phone coaching is quite a limited way to use our senses. Getting outside and starting to explore how we're feeling when we're thinking about certain things, when we're thinking about anxieties, or we're thinking about how we want to be or what we want to become, allows us to expand our repertoire of senses in order to feel deeper into ourselves about where our awareness is. And if we can grow our awareness, we can grow our choices. And last but not least, I'm going to talk about briefly about how, when we're out doing coaching in nature, we might directly explore our relationship with the planet. And if you have one take-home message from today, it's on this slide. There is demonstrated now through some really good research a positive feedback loop that shows that the more nature connected you are, the more pro-environment action you're going to take. And in one way, this is really simple, isn't it? We value what we love. We value what we know. So how do we act on and for the planet if we don't really know and value and love the planet? And that means the nature around us. So there's a huge opportunity, I think, with nature-based coaching to help people connect with nature. And as a result, create activists and ignite action in those people, in their communities, that then comes back for the good of the world around us. So there's that mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. I've tried to briefly, and this is a short session today, so I've tried to briefly introduce you to some thoughts I have about what the role and value of nature-based coaching is. We've talked a bit about the importance of connecting people to the natural world and what that does in terms of igniting action. We've talked a bit about how nature-based coaching expands our ability to build capacity and to build capability in our clients, in ourselves, and in the communities around us.